Hello, hello. My name is Jules Hare. I'm joined with my Dharma sister, Janelle Willette, and we are here to offer another revolutionary conversation. This revolutionary conversation, though, is unlike any other. In fact, some of you might have never joined us before for revolutionary conversation. So today's conversation is going to be unique, very dynamic. There is something on offering today that feels like it's going to change the world. And I'm not saying that lightly. There's a big, big shift happening in this world. We can all feel it. And that which is coming through us most recently is following suit with what the world needs right now. And we look forward to sharing it with you today. So I'll pass this over to Janelle in the expression of what is coming through right now. Please, Janelle.
Ah, such a privilege to be at a point, a pivotal point of life that I think many of us have had lifetimes and challenges and opportunities and victories that have prepared us for these pivotal moments. And I think it also points to perspective of how we see these times. Because if we can know that we are so prepared for, being on the precipice of a great change, and those of us who have lived a life of introspection and following our truth and knowing that there's something really great going on in the midst of the chaos and the challenges and what we're seeing in our world and maybe in your own life. And so as Jules and I have been taking this beautiful choreography of the revolutionary conversations, we have recently introduced something called the Golden Genius Mastermind. And the Golden Genius Mastermind is an invitation to those people who feel called to um, have a collaborative community where we can think big thoughts, dream together, work on the breakthroughs that want to come through both internally and in the world, and do that in a collective way where we can collaborate and co-create with the conditions and the culture that Jules and I feel to provide in this mastermind. And so the mastermind is a way to bring all of your expertise, your talents, your successes and victories in the world, and then bringing that, and that might be the collaboration and the collective library of your life, and bring that, because that is your earned wisdom and victories. And so it has great value. And what's so potent and powerful is that when you sitting at the helm of your heart and your soul and dwelling there, there's an opportunity to now weave what I call the infinite intelligence of the quantum intelligence. So you've got the QI and the IQ coming together at this center place. Because when we have a way to be so authentic and present to our own selves and dream big dreams and let the container of this mastermind be a collective of golden energy, of potential. What can come from that is really what um, beckons my curiosity and my great aspirations for being of service to the world, humanity, and each of you.
Thank you for sharing that beautiful description of the quantum intelligence and the IQ and the QI, right? The intelligence
Hmm.
quotient and the quantum intelligence. And I know that as a therapist myself, and I know Janelle will introduce herself and her background as well, but as a therapist for over 33 years, doing cranial sacral therapy, somatic emotional release, just being in that deep space with people in that depth of holding space for that safety and presence for whatever needs to come through. Uh,
Mhm.
so many of them, and so many of you listening right now, watching right now, have had that experience of taking courses and reading the books and going to all the seminars and feeling like you've got it with your head, right? Your IQ's got it. Like
Yeah.
we've grasped the information, right? We've got the knowledge, but there's something that kind of stops it from being able to be embodied, to being able to fully access that wisdom, to having it live through you. And it just feels like there's a missing piece. And that is, it can be so frustrating. And I've watched people over and over again take this course after that course after this course and feel like they've got it in their head, or they know
Mhm,
something to be true
mhm,
with their head,
mhm.
but they don't know why it's not fully registering in their experience. Why could they take all these courses and get all these accreditations, but still not feel like it's actually landing, or that they're really truly living it? And that's what we're talking about with this Golden Genius Mastermind. We're talking about blending these two, not keeping them separate
Right.
anymore. It's not the sages and then the really intelligent you know teachers. They're one, and they're one in you, and we don't have to do it alone. This is doing it together, so it happens way faster, and it happens easier, and it happens in connection, which is just the force that this world needs.
Yes, and together is a big word. And, coming out of COVID, when we've all learned how to be self-sustaining and to be in our own safe places, it develops something inside of each of us. Because I think many of us learned how to go deeper and to be comfortable, more comfortable in uncertainty. And so now, how do we bring that out? How do you bring forward the next iteration, the next chapter, the next piece that you're meant to live? And a lot of us who have, been on this journey for a while have done some really fantastic things. And so now it's a chance to bring together your innate power, to bring your purpose. Maybe you've done great things, but you haven't really struck a chord with how to bring purpose into the world. Because in purpose is passion. And when you bring purpose, power, and passion together, there's a presence. You pay attention. You're awake. You feel more awake to life. You bring more life to your own life. And in that, there's a poise. And in that poise is what we love to look at as the life of flow, the life of grace. And that happens from the inside out. And that is the place that I call the most fertile soil for our soul to come alive. And that's the way that we access our quantum intelligence.
And as you say that too, and I've been working with Janelle, and Janelle is my mentor as I'm learning as a therapist, realizing in myself that I've been holding space for others. And
Mhm.
in that holding space for others and being busy and trying to help everyone else, that I haven't done enough of my own self evolution work to be able to hold space now that everyone is excelling to that next level. I need to excel to that next level as well, right? And that opportunity to be
Yeah,
able to recognize and humble ourselves in the fact that we're all learning and growing. We all need to take ourselves to this next point. Um, there was something about that flow state, about doing it like backwards, upside down, inside out, like the way that this is coming along, the next stage of our evolution
yeah.
is not the way that it used to be. It's so different that we need help in that reorientation because it is inside out. And it's hard to not try to force our mind to do something, but actually surrender to the flow in a way we've never been taught to do that before. Can you share a little bit more about that flow state, you know?
Sure, yeah. Well, many of us aspire to find that flow because if you think about some time in your life when you experienced it, there's nothing greater than trying to duplicate it. But most people can't because they haven't ever realized how they got there. But they have that remembrance of like, oh, yeah, it's almost like the doors open before you get there. And so looking back at it, you can see that those times are made of the energy that has this super fluidity and it's free of strain, it's free of opposition, and it's free of stress. So if you look at your life now and you aspire to be in flow, which is that full expression of your innate genius energy to allow that to come through, because we know when we're in contracted state and we're trying too hard, that contracted state is not allowing the wellspring of your golden energy to come fully alive, right? And you think of some of the great geniuses. Einstein, I remember, there was a moment when he was trying to figure out this new math breakthrough problem that he was working on, and he couldn't figure it out. He just couldn't find that place in his mind. And so he stepped back and he loved to look out into nature, into the foothills and the mountains, and just feel and be present in that space. And that's when it came to him. Because what then did he do? You might say that he opened and he allowed himself without contraction, without trying harder, just that ease, without stress, strain, or opposition, for the quantum intelligence to trickle in. So, in a
Mm.
simplified way, that's what we're talking about. And so it's not trying harder, it's it's that beautiful balance of effort and ease, inside out and outside in, so that we can access something that we haven't before accessed as a human consciousness, as a human potential. And so what we want to do is we want to support you in finding that for yourself, because each of us has a signature, has the architecture of our own soul, the life you were born to live, so that you know in your heart of hearts that you don't die with the music still in you. And I
Mm.
think the world, more than any other time than now, really needs that golden potential to be manifest, to be brought onto the world and to aliven and awaken. And I think together, this collaborative force, synergy, is really where the magic is. And if you're a leader and a trailblazer, an entrepreneur, a lot of times leaders are breaking the trail and doing something that's never been done before. So that life can be an isolated life. It can be a lonely life, and being on the top is a lonely place. And I'm here to say, well, let's create a new summit, the Golden Summit together. Let's explore and discover what that looks like, and let
Mm.
innovations and original inventions be born again.
There's so much there to unpack. And I know if you're listening to, you can feel that in you, if that spoke to you, right? This is your golden genius. We all have a golden genius. And whether it's been like smothered down and you've tried to keep it small, or whether it's just like blasting, trying to blast open and you're looking for ways to open up the doors for it.
Yeah.
um, this feeling of knowing this golden genius mastermind is that opportunity to be able to let that part of you have a place to play, let
Mhm,
connect
mhm,
with others in the
mhm.
same
Yeah.
place. Yes. And I know we've talked about it before, Janelle, but that opportunity to know that everybody has this golden genius, of course, right? But
Yeah.
y- that opportunity to be able to recognize it, to connect to it, is there anything that people need to have in common, like any common denominator to know, okay, I'm ready for this, or I'm not ready for this? What?
Rich and ripe curiosity is really a great place to start. A curiosity. And that's exactly why we've designed the mastermind such that we want everyone to try it. And what it is, it's a bi-monthly hour, and tentatively it's set for Wednesday. So the next one is going to be next week. I think it would be November 3rd.
November the 6th, I think. Yes.
November 6th. Yes, yes, yes. November 6th. And so we have to connect and weave time and timelessness here. So November 6th at 4 Pacific Standard Time, we're going to come together and have our first mastermind. And we want everyone to try the mastermind for free. If it feels like it's your community, it's your hub, it's your way of finding your tribe, if it's your place to play and just feel like, wow, it's almost like a jam. You just go there and you see what it has to offer. And if it strikes your internal juices and brings you alive, that's the greatest sign, right? So that it's almost like it's novel, because that's when we pay most attention and we realize that there's something here that I haven't experienced before, or a new possibility might come alive inside of me. And a lot of people who participate um, probably aren't going to be speaking and won't feel like they want to be the active participants that are talking and collaborating, because it's a monologue for a short period, but then it's facilitating the collaborative communication, connection, idea making. It's going to be guided in that way so that each person can really feel an experience of finding out what their uh, infinite reservoir is made of inside,
Mm,
how to access that quantum field of intelligence. Because even if you have an experience or two in that, it will give you the tools and the jewels to take it out into the world beyond the mastermind. But it's also the incubation station. If you stay and you want to work on something, this is where to do it. This is where new invention, new ideas are born and brought forward to come alive. So it's designed such that you can try it 3 times, and the model is such that it will be every other week, and really simple, just $50 for 3 months, right? It's just your ticket for participation, 50 American dollars. Yeah.
and thank you for that description too, Janelle, like of knowing that we can contribute in different ways. So if
Absolutely.
somebody doesn't feel like they can contribute, um, or they are afraid to speak, or it's they're more the sort of person, because we're all different, right? Some people want to like contribute right away. Other people want to just sit back and watch. Your presence is your contribution. And so this is that opportunity. This is your invitation to be a part of this beautiful dynamic. And that's just 50 American dollars for 3 whole months, right? Once you've tried it once or 3 times, right? So this is really pulling off of your curiosity. There's nothing for you to lose. There's everything for you to be pulled into, to allow yourself to try this on and to feel it out.
Yeah.
And that is our intention, is that this is a community offering. This is low ticket price, because really it's all about your curiosity driving you here. This is not going to be full of people, because not everybody is ready for this degree of engagement. But if this
Mhm.
speaks to you, this is for you, and we'd love to see you out there. So please reach out to us at Golden Genius Mastermind at gmail.com. Exactly how it sounds. Golden
Mhm.
Genius Mastermind at gmail.com if this speaks to you, because this is our offering. This is how we get into the world your genius. We're inviting your genius to come play so that you remember the power of your genius.
And I think it's also to continue to redefine your genius. Because once you get into that genius space within yourself, it's like the starting line that doesn't have a finish line. You just wake up and you keep creating, you keep coming more alive, you keep connecting, and you keep contributing and getting more of that fulfillment and that feeling of aliveness. Because when we have something to contribute, we naturally feel more connected and an integral part of humanity and of being a real asset to humanity and our planet. And a lot of times I know for myself, and that's why my practice is called synergy. And the reason it's called synergy because I realize there's such magic in continuing to coalesce and bring together parts of which the whole is much greater than its sum. And that's a never ending evolutionary journey for me. And so that is what I like to weave. I'm an exercise physiologist, nutritionist, as well as a innovative life coach and transformation catalyst healer for people to remove any blocks and aspects of themselves that they haven't yet met so that they can find their own invincibility, become that. And that might be healing, that might be bringing an idea to fruition, it might be changing your lifestyle or bringing things together more that you feel alive and a optimal realized human being so that you feel dynamite again.
Oh, and that as soon as you said dynamite, Janelle, it's like, that brings us to the next big thing that's being birthed into
Big aha.
yeah, the big aha, right? So from this Golden Genius Mastermind, which has come through, which we knew needed to be delivered to you, this is speaking to you, right? Uh, then this next part came through, and we're like, wow, we have to honor what's showing up right now. And that is the next level, an immersive level of growth that, we didn't even realize it was going to come through. And when it did, we recognized, wow, this has great power and this might only happen once. And because it's potent and it needs to come through. So I would love for you to tell everybody about that,
Mm,
Janelle.
yeah. So we have realized that there are people who are so ready to dive into not only their invincibility, but their immortality. And so I know when I was ready, um, I met that part in myself and instantly it started to come alive. And so Jules and I are creating a program together in a way that we bring the best of ourselves and what we have come to know. And it brings to fruition this 90-day immersion into your immortality and invincibility. An immersion into your immortality and thus your invincibility. When you have found that golden place inside of you and expressed that and brought it to life, you are not only unshakable and unbreakable, but you are so alive because invincibility to me is the fullest expression of your IQ and your QI. Because at then any given moment, you are fully expressing the, the fruition that's coming from inside because this immersion is a real intimate um, collection of, it's limited to 10 people. And it's a 90-day journey where people are going to get a one-on-one alchemy session to work on anything that keeps us from that. Whatever is up is what will be met with each person individually. And once a week, a 90-minute monologue dialogue. So it's going to be a teaching, a golden jewel will be brought forward that has to do with what is the next step of your immortality, what's wanting to meet you, and then there will be the natural organic dialogue where we use that energy of that beautiful container that is so in resonance with these selected 10 people, that the conditions and the culture are rich and right for you to fully come alive, to be seen, to be heard, to be loved, valued, and respected unconditionally, so that something inside of you can come alive and know the trust, to know the benevolence and the support that's here for you to bring to fruition what is beckoning you inside. And because we've heard so many people that are at that place, we said, we can't wait. So the 5th of December, we're going to launch and dive in.
And I know that with our designing of this program, Janelle, and everything that we put into this is a program like one I've never seen before, because one session every week for
Hmm.
90 days, right? So 3 months, one session every week. Like, that's a lot of accountability. That's a lot of holding. That's a lot of continually knowing you are being seen and heard and acknowledged, respected and loved and valued, not just by a mentor, but by an entire community as well. Because that accountability that comes with growing in a group, and I've led several groups myself, and the
Hmm.
power of those groups is truly in the holding space personally, one on one, but also in that holding space all together. Because as we're all growing together, as we're all
Hmm.
coming up against our own personal things, some of
Right.
them are very collectively similar. And
Hmm.
oftentimes in a group, we'll have that experience where you go, wow, they had that experience, they had that experience, they had that experience. They're all different, but those are all different parts of the same experience I'm having as well. Like, wow, I feel like I'm learning 10 times more with all these
Yes.
other people than I would on my own, right? So that the power of group work, especially now, especially as we're evolving together and recognizing our collective power together, this
Yes.
degree of personal dynamic work as well as the collective work together, this 30 days, 30 days would be a lot. 90 days, three times that, 90 days of this degree. That is why we can say immortality and
Hmm.
invincibility, because it's getting to that place of immortality, not so that you live forever in the human sense, but you can truly connect at that depth with the fact that we are souls having a human experience, not the other way around. And not only just like say that, but actually live that and
Feel
feel
that.
that, like believe it without a shadow of a doubt. That's the invincibility
Yeah.
part.
Right. It's almost like life then lives you. And it's just the opening so that life can flow effortlessly, fluidly. And that, the individualized part of it is to meet you as a unique individual, unlike anybody else. So we can unpack what's in you and you can make discoveries and then come back to the group and share what you want to share. So it really is a model that's almost like a hybrid, because it's very individualized, and you also get that group support, because it can be really dark and lonely meeting parts of our shadows. that we may not even have known are there. But if it's the one big block that's keeping you from really aspiring to live the life you were born to live and to get to that next place that you just can't seem to find, this is what's going to hold you and support you and help to meet and resolve and let the nourishing golden energy work through you and with you, that you feel supported and you feel seen, that you have a safe place for every aspect of your being.
Mm. And to know that you're living the life that you came here to live, right? Or that you were designed. We're all here. We all know there must be a purpose for us to be here. But
Mhm,
sometimes that feels so far away from our reality. And like
mhm.
we've said before, whether you've already, raised your children, made your millions, reached the successes, levels of successes you thought you were meant to reach and still don't feel that level of fulfillment. Or maybe you're, in the early stages of your own like spiritual evolutionary journey and
Yeah,
you're like, you know what? I don't want this to have to take like 20 years. I'm
yeah,
ready and I want to do it now. Like let's do this. It's go time,
yeah.
right? So I know if you're hearing this, if you're feeling this is already in you. Uh, Reach out. This is a little bit of a different process because we need to make sure that everybody is ready for this. So if you are ready, you reach out to us, and then the next step is having an interview to be sure that you're ready for this, right? And that it's a good fit for you and it's a good fit for everybody because this is a really individualized, really precise program, as Janelle said. And that opportunity, not just during those calls, we'll also have a private group where we will be able to uh, immersively, oh my goodness, this big thing's happening. Oh, and share it so that you're always open for a conversation with other people in the group because that it's important to know you're being held by one another, not just by us.
Yeah. And everything that comes up is welcome here. And if it's 3 o'clock in the morning and something's coming through you, share it with the group because it's going to be people all over the world. And you'll have an opportunity to have a safe place to explore, express, to maybe just express what is going on inside of you and that's in your heart. And so holding this to a maximum of 10 people ensures this real intimate environment. And everybody's going to really be at that stage of readiness so that we begin to create this space of great coherence and resonance. And I think this is just so valuable because I know when I was going through my great awakenings, it was a solo journey. And there were times that there were things going on inside of me that I had no explanation for. Nobody around me had ever gone through it. And so they didn't know how to support me because it's really having the internal self throw off what you have thought to be true so that that immortal self, your soul, can be born, right? So this is really a unique opportunity for you to have someone who's gone all the way through and worked with several people individually and have that individual unique support while you having that community support, right? So that you are always held whatever comes up. And when you know how safe that you are to be free with whatever comes forward, that's when things open. There can be the expansion versus the contraction.
Mm. And I like when you describe that, Janelle. We're creating the conditions so that without a shadow of a doubt, you feel
Mhm.
safe for whatever needs to come to the surface to come to the surface. And just imagine being held in a container like that where there's absolutely no judgment and there's a space, a safe space where everything that needs to come through you and be released and surrendered can be without any judgment. In fact, with the celebration of everyone around you, because we're all doing it together. That's what we're talking about here. And that's what this great immersion is all about. And so if this speaks to you, if you feel this, as I say, if you feel this in your bones, uh, please reach out to us, Golden Genius Mastermind at gmail.com. Like Janelle said, we're going to be starting up the Golden Genius Mastermind on November the 6th. That's, as we're recording this, that's next Wednesday. And that's at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8
Yes.
p.m. where I am in the Maritimes in New Brunswick, Canada. That's 8 o'clock, and if you're in Pacific Standard Time, California time, where Janelle is, that's 4 p.m. That's every second Wednesday from that point on.
Right.
And then the Great Immersion, that will be launching December 5th. And so if that is something that you're into, and I know it's short notice, but that's how we
The
get
time is
delivered
now.
divinely. Yeah, exactly. And so if that's something that speaks to you, we're starting this. If you're seeing this, this is the opening of that registration. So please reach out to us. If you know somebody who might really resonate with this, we would appreciate you sharing it with them. There is a limited space, but it's always the exact right people that show up. And so please, if this is speaking to you, don't hesitate to reach out. If it's not the right fit, the Golden Genius Mastermind will, and there'll be more to come. So please let this be your invitation. Come, whoever you are.
Yes. Yeah. Give yourself a chance to amaze your own self.
That's your invitation. So if
Yeah.
your golden genius is jumping up and down in your body right now, going, yes, that's me. Woo!
Yeah. And there are going to be several people who are in both. And actually, if you take the immersion program, you're given a full year of the mastermind
Yes.
because it's almost like the internal immersion gives rise to the external. Because in a way, the two are different aspects of the same internal self and with different expressions. So they actually have great corresponding and complementary value. So it's quite auspicious to do them both at the same time. And of course, they're going to be on different days.
Yes. Ah, beautiful.
So find out more. Love to have you. And if you feel like you want to check in with one of us about it, we'd be happy to respond and get back to you and have a personal conversation so that you can explore more about, is this for me? Is this the time? Is this really right? The time for you
Mm,
to dive in to your own life, to your own potentiality, to find out what you're made of, to find out what's beckoning you, and to bring more life to your life.
mm. Okay. You're feeling it, you're hearing it. Reach out. Golden Genius Mastermind at gmail.com. And we look forward to hearing from you and tuning in all these revolutionary conversations as well. Please know there's a whole bank now of amazing conversations that will take you to that next level inside of yourself. You already get things churning. We look forward
Yeah.
to seeing you again soon. Mm.
All
Much
right.
love. Thank you, Janelle. Thank you,
All
everybody,
right.
for watching and listening.
Blessings.
And talk soon.